Thank you, Pastor Nielsen. Appreciate it. I'd like to note that the interpreter for this evening is Ashley Arceniga. Ms. Arceniga, would you mind raising your hand? So if you need any listening devices, she will have them for you. Antes de llamar a la Junta a orden, me gusta notar que contamos con servicios de interpretación para esta Junta y la señora Arceniga está sentada atrás. I'd like to call this meeting to order for the City Council meeting of June 17th, 2025. Madam Clerk, could you please call the roll?
Councilmember Aguilera Hernandez.
Here.
Councilmember Flores.
Here.
Councilmember Soto is absent this evening. Mayor Pro Tem Escobedo.
Here.
Mayor Patino.
Here. Okay, I'll call the meeting to order for the City Council meeting of June 17th. And City Attorney, Mr. Watson, would you like to give the closed session report?
Yes, Madam Mayor. With respect to items 3A and 3B, and 3A, instructions were provided to legal counsel. In 3B, instructions were provided to the agency representatives. No further report is necessary.
Thank you. We will now have a presentation. So Councilmember Aguilera Hernandez will be making the presentation.
Yes. I would present this to AmeriCorps. That's going to be accepted by Eddie Taylor after I'm done reading the proclamation. Whereas AmeriCorps has empowered thousands of volunteers across the U.S., including hundreds in Santa Barbara County, to address critical community needs in education, homelessness, disaster response, and public health. And whereas AmeriCorps Home for Good members have provided vital services in northern Santa Barbara County, supporting unhoused individuals, at-risk youth, and veterans through housing assistance and stability programs. And whereas from September 2024 to April 2025, members delivered over 4,000 essential services in the county, housing 80 people and assisting 300 others in finding permanent housing. And whereas the potential loss of AmeriCorps due to federal defunding poses a serious threat to local service efforts and community progress, and whereas the City of Santa Maria affirms its commitment to service and supports the creation of Santa Barbara County Service Corps, led by Northern Santa Barbara County United Way to continue vital programs and federal funding it lost. And whereas in the absence of federal support, the city supports the creation of Santa Barbara County Service Corps, led by Northern Santa Barbara County United Way to continue vital work in housing, education, disaster response, and health, provide service opportunities for youth, veterans, and those with lived experience, offer education awards up to $5,000 annually, and build the program through local partnerships. Now, therefore, Alice M. Patino, the mayor of the City of Santa Maria, hereby recognize AmeriCorps National Service in the City of Santa Maria and express full support for continued investment in local service initiatives. In witness whereof, she has set her hand and has caused the seal of the City of Santa Maria to affix hereto the 17th day of June, 2025.
Mayor, Council, thank you. A couple of things have happened since we last talked, and they seem positive because AmeriCorps has been refunded. However, AmeriCorps is on the chopping block for the next budget cycle, so we continue our work, and we as a team are dedicated to making sure that there will be a service corps providing services in Santa Barbara County, no matter what it takes. Working with the cities, working with the county, working with our donors and sponsors, we will make sure that folks like Ivana and Mary especially continue to have an opportunity to provide service. I'd like to point out that during this rough period, 20 of our AmeriCorps members who were providing services to the homeless and to the retention of the folks who have been housed, they didn't stop working. They turned to us and said, can we volunteer? And they continued to work for 6 weeks, I think, until everything got worked out. That's the kind of dedication we get from the members who serve our community. I'd like you to give them the hand they deserve. Thank you.
And thank you very much. I know so many times when I talk about the homeless and what we're doing and the agencies involved, I think I have forgotten to give AmeriCorps kudos for all they've done and the big help at the riverbed. So thank you. Thank you very much, Mr. Taylor. Next item on the agenda is a presentation on fireworks education and enforcement to be delivered by Mark Vandekamp, our Public Information Officer. Good evening, Mr. Vandekamp.
Hi, good evening, Mayor and Council, directors, staff, and the public. I have some show and tell items tonight and a couple of videos during the presentation. So first I want to say we're looking forward to a great 4th of July. The city encourages the community to celebrate the nation's birthday responsibly. One of our goals is to mitigate illegal fireworks activity. This is a long-term goal. We are well aware of the magnitude of and the explosions and the unwelcome impacts on residents and pets who are noise sensitive. There are other ways to celebrate. The city will continue to allow the sale of safe and sane fireworks. These do not go up in the sky. With this year, we have 24 approved fireworks booths per this council's direction in the municipal code. We will have sales allowed between June 28 and July 4th. And these booths are nonprofit organizations that have their principal and primary meeting places here in Santa Maria and including the township of Orcutt and a couple of other criteria. And additionally, the Recreation Parks Department will host a family-friendly 4th of July event with music, food, and games. So on the screens, we have the 3 benchmarks of our fireworks campaign. That's education, enforcement, and entertainment. So this year, our educational efforts include direct mail to all Santa Maria households, social media, and then we did a lot more this year with outreach to promote the rules and guidelines which we have in English and in Spanish. Our outreach coordinator and I reached out by phone and in-person visits to various Spanish and English speaking businesses and organizations. So we reached out to our local school districts, the County of Santa Barbara Animal Services and the Public Health Department, local businesses including some carnicerias, meat delis, cafes, local animal clinics and shops. We covered areas along the northwest between West Main and North Broadway, East Main, College, West Main, downtown, Enos Ranch, Town Center, East and West, so about 38 businesses. I'd also like to appeal if there's any other businesses in Santa Maria that would like to receive our digital assets for printing, totally welcome that. I'll personally make sure you get them via email. We also have paid ads in English and Spanish on multiple local radio stations. Our city government TV, Comcast Channel 3, on which you may be watching this meeting. We have them. We have news releases, lots and lots on our social media, posters aboard our Santa Maria Regional Transit buses, posters at city offices. We're working with our partners at County Animal Services. Again, they are cooperatively offering the free use of pet crates for pet owners who would like to have a secure spot for their dogs and cats and maybe bunnies during the 4th of July. So this is our message, which we've done for a few years. We are putting this out on 2-sided bilingual flyers, which we have here. I'll make some more available in the back. And I know council members, I've placed those up, our clerk has posted those on the dais for you. Many of these flyers are going to be put into bags of all the fireworks that are sold at the booths. The fire department has already distributed them to the operators of those booths, so every time they sell a bag of fireworks, they're going to pop one of these flyers in there. And this is just to show you some of the fireworks booths we'll have. This next slide, so we do have, again, free yard signs, and I'm just going to show these up. These are available right here at your city hall. We have them in English and in Spanish, and they're with these wire yard stakes, so you can also, if you have a yard, you can put them in your front yard. If you don't, you might want to put them in the window of maybe, say, your apartment, wherever you dwell, and we have them in Spanish. We have lots of these. We conceived of the idea back in about 2016, and we've distributed well over 200 of these, primarily in English. They're available Monday through Thursday here at City Hall, and they're free for city residents. So that brings me to enforcement. As I stated at the outset, our goal is to mitigate illegal fireworks use. Violators will receive a $1,000 fine if caught. Our Santa Maria Police Department plans on deploying officers from June 30th through July 4th for fireworks detail. Fire prevention inspectors will be partnering with our police officers to patrol the community, also looking for illegal fireworks activity. And of course, the Santa Maria Fire Department will, again, as we've done in years past, be contracting with a vendor to fly an aircraft equipped with GPS and with video. This will fly the city, and it can pinpoint launch points of illegal fireworks, meaning we can trace where the illegal fireworks are coming from, and the property owner will receive the citation. Our city rangers also will be on patrol for illegal fireworks. So last year, we issued a record 63 violations. Beyond that, we also have third-party reporting via our city website, cityofsantamaria.org. The police officers, the fire inspectors, and the rangers can't be everywhere. Our city is 23.2 square miles. So for those residents who see something, you can say something. You can, if you choose, you can go onto our website and you can make the complaint. We have a form. The law requires residents to be witnesses, and they need to give their name and be willing to testify in court if they want the charges to stick. So this is your opportunity, and we've made this available for a number of years. So the next slide, this is the part of our show and tell. We'll continue. We have two 30-second public service announcements starring our very own fire chief, and they're in English and in Spanish.
Santa Maria Fire Chief Brad Dandridge with a message about illegal fireworks. The city will again use an aircraft with video and GPS to pinpoint launches of illegal fireworks. Property owners and/or occupants of identified addresses will be fined $1,000. Instead, use only safe and sane fireworks from 11 a.m. to 11 p.m. on the 4th of July. Let's all celebrate responsibly. Thank you. Hola, soy el jefe de bomberos de Santa Maria, Brad Dandridge, con un anuncio sobre fuegos artificiales ilegales. La ciudad volverá a utilizar una aeronave con video y GPS para identificar lanzamientos de fuegos artificiales ilegales. Los propietarios y ocupantes de direcciones identificadas serán multados con $1,000. En su lugar, solo utilice fuegos artificiales seguros y sanos de 11 a.m. a 11 p.m. el 4 de julio. Celebremos todos responsablemente. Gracias.
Thank you. And we've also put these up on our channel that you're watching right now, as well as we've sent these out to KSBY 6, KYT, and to Telemundo, asking them to run them as a public service. So also on the screen, we've done this for many, many years. We have an illegal fireworks hotline. You can call that number at 925-0951, extension 3473, which spells out fire. Residents who call that will hear a message that they can either continue to leave a message on that line with the address or location, the name or names of the persons involved, the time and date of the violation, and those messages will be monitored by our Santa Maria Police Department. Or if you get this line and you think, you know, I really want to talk with someone live, you can also hang up and call the Santa Maria Police Department at 928-3781. And now for our grand finale, 3, 2, 1. We're going to talk about the entertainment. We have a really great, fun, and family-friendly 4th of July event. Our Recreation and Parks Department with Driscoll's and Play Incorporated are hosting a hometown celebration. And I realize the slide's a little hard to read unless you have outstanding eagle vision. But I'll tell you a little bit about it. So it'll be on Friday, July 4th from 12 to 4 p.m. over just down the street from City Hall at the famous Abel Maldonado Community Youth Center at Elks Baseball Field. We're going to have a live music, a concert by Savor, which is a Santana tribute band. They'll be on stage from 1:30 to 3:30. And the Paul Nelson Aquatic Center and the Abel Maldonado Community Youth Center will be open for free family fun, including the pool. We'll have a pie and watermelon eating contest, food vendors, youth arts and crafts, bounce houses, foam pit, and there's more. So you might want to bring some lawn chairs and some blankets and just enjoy some really great music, Santa Maria style 4th of July. And we'll have a car show out in the parking lot. So with that, we just hope everybody can have an outstanding 4th of July, and I'm willing to answer any questions that anyone may have.
Thank you, Mr. Vandekamp. Any questions?
No? Thank you.
Is the hotline, is it activated now?
Yes.
It is, okay. And the PD number is, again?
We can go back. It's 925-0951, which is the city line, and then it's extension 3473.
Okay, that's the fire, but you said, or they called PD, you said 928?
Or you can also call the police department at its number, 928-3781.
Okay, thank you very much. Thank you very much, Mr. Vandekamp.
Thank you.
So the next item on the agenda is the public comment period. Madam Clerk, do we have any requests to speak?
Yes, right in front of you, Madam Mayor, there's 7. Would you like me to
Oh, I'm
read
sorry,
the
I didn't see these.
Would you like me to read the requirements, or?
Yes, please.
Okay. Speakers may provide public comments on any matter within the subject matter jurisdiction of the City Council. Each speaker will be limited to 3 minutes, maximum 15 minutes for public comment period. Unless the majority of the council objects, the mayor may provide speakers more or less time to speak. All comments or queries shall be addressed to the council as a body and not to any specific member thereof. Pursuant to Government Code Section 549542A2, the Ralph M. Brown Act, no action or discussion by the City Council shall be undertaken on any item not appearing on the posted agenda, except to briefly provide information, ask for clarification, provide direction to staff, or schedule a matter for a future meeting.
Thank you. I have 7 requests to speak. So I'll start with Randy Downer, next Gary Hall, Cheryl Lacoste. Good evening, Mr. Downer.
Good evening. How are you? It's very good to see you again.
Thank you.
My name is Randy Downer. I live at 1109 Fairway Vista Drive in Santa Maria.
Yeah.
And I am the self-appointed, self-anointed ratepayer advocate regarding various rates and fees that Santa Maria may incur from time to time. In this particular case, the landscape services. Please recall, so that you can understand my background in speaking to this area, has been included in my unsafe conditions report that has been forwarded to you back in March. Tonight, you have information provided to you. I wanted just to go ahead and make sure that all is understood. There are 3 areas that I have concerns about having to do with having an item of this magnitude, a multi-year, multi-million-dollar agreement that is going to be considered for award this evening on the consent agenda. Secondly, historically, the district or the city has had an issue with regarding recurring awards to the same bidder, even though they are not the low bidder. There are conflicts with the public contract code with regard to this. I also realize there are some relief measures that allow the city to do certain things. Thirdly, the particular length of this award, considering the difference between the low bidder and the next high bidder, has to do with the amount of premium that our ratepayers will pay for landscape services throughout the city. And that includes everyone in this room if you live in the city. Anywhere between $1.5 to $2 million of what would not be necessary if in fact this bid were awarded to the low bidder. And lastly, a recently discovered issue, and I'm going to refer this to City Attorney Watson. I think before you make this award or make this award final, I'd like you to research to determine whether or not the city has in fact complied with Public Contract Code 10304. I'd be happy to answer any questions. I know that it's not permitted at this time, but
Mr. Downer, I can ask you a question, though. Is that 12E1 that you're speaking of?
12E1, that's correct.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Next is Gary Hall, followed by Cheryl Lacoste, followed by Adeline Espinosa. Good evening, Mr. Hall.
Excuse me. Good evening, Madam Mayor, council members, staff, and the citizens of Santa Maria. My name is Gary Hall. I'm a resident of the Rancho Buena Vista Mobile Estates at 2135 North Railroad Avenue here in Santa Maria. I represent the North Santa Barbara County Manufactured Homeowners Team, or NSBIT. First, let me apologize for my recent sporadic attendance to your meetings. Turns out I have another life also. I have not yet heard of the council's willingness to add senior mobile home park conversion prevention and mobile home rent stabilization to a future meeting's agenda. So I'm back again tonight, pleading again for you to take up the appropriate and overdue action. We believe Santa Maria mobile home seniors deserve the same protection from conversion that is being provided to the seniors in an unincorporated Santa Barbara County. Last August, I brought to you news of the inappropriate attempt by the new owner of the Del Cielo Seniors Mobile Home Park to convert into an all-age park. Fortunately, the Santa Barbara County Board of Supervisors took appropriate action to stop the conversion. And now, on July 15th, they will hear the Senior Mobile Home Park Overlay Ordinance amendments, a permanent fix completed in less than a year. In a similar action, I believe the Santa Maria could also revise existing Title 12 zoning ordinances and add the overlay provision. This would protect Santa Maria Senior Mobile Home Park residents from the kind of conversion action attempted at Del Cielo Senior Mobile Home Park in Orchid. Let's get this on the agenda. Now, not a new, no, an old subject. Nearly 3 years ago, this council passed a motion with the intention of improving the 2020 model lease or replacing it. That attempt has apparently failed since no improvements have been announced or presented to the Santa Maria mobile home residents. We believe it is now time to look at replacing the model lease with an honest-to-goodness mobile home rent stabilization program, like has been provided to many of our neighbor city and county jurisdictions. A uniform, mandatory, and enforceable program that protects the residents by maintaining affordability and still providing the park owner with a fair return. Please bring mobile home rent stabilization back to the agenda. Let's solve this problem once and for all.
Thank you, Mr. Hall. Cheryl Lacasse.
Good evening, everybody. I'm here tonight. I live at 1506 North Pine Street. I'm here tonight to address the problem with paratransit. We need at least 4 buses. I've had to cancel routine medical appointments because there is no room on the bus. Now, many disabled and seniors use this bus. So it's very important. Some cities, I have friends that live in Northern California, and what their cities do is the cities run the fixed routes, and they contract the paratransits out to other, I guess they're in their own office, and so they're contracted out, so other people are running them. The Santa Maria Area Transit sometimes seems a bit overwhelmed. Sometimes they don't answer their phone, or they'll answer it, and then in the middle of scheduling an appointment, we're put on hold for a long period of time. So I think that pretty much covers it. It was great in 2009 when MV was running it, and when they left, everything just kind of went down the drain slowly. So I hope that you will take this into consideration and please fix it, or help me fix it. I'll work on it with you however I can. Uber costs a fortune, by the way, because I've had to use it for some stuff. So that's not really a very good option. And that wraps it up. Thank you.
Thank you very much, and I saw Mr. Fulgoni taking notes there, and I have your phone number here I can give to him, so Mr. Fulgoni will respond. Thank you very much for bringing that to our attention.
Thank you.
So I have Adeline Espinosa, Analia Vega, and they're all from Fighting Back, and Juan Martinez and Santiago Segura. So Adeline Espinosa.
Hi, everyone. Good evening, Madam Mayor and council members. My name is Adeline Espinosa, and I'm here with Fighting Back Santa Maria Valley's Youth Action Coalition. And I recently just graduated from Pioneer Valley. I was born and raised here in Santa Maria, and I really care about our city and the people in it. So I'm here tonight because I believe Santa Maria should be a smoke-free city. This wouldn't just help me, it would help my family, my friends, the environment, and the community as a whole. Sometimes when I'm driving with the window down, I can smell secondhand smoke from people outside. I didn't choose to breathe that in, but I still have to. And that smoke can lead to serious health problems like lung cancer, strokes, and even negative reproductive effects. And it's not just about health, it's also about the message we send. When smoking is happening everywhere in public, it starts to feel normal sometimes, like it's no big deal, but it is a big deal. If we make public spaces smoke-free, we're showing kids, teens, and adults that our city values clean air, healthy choices, and safe spaces for everyone. It's not just about me, it's about everyone. A smoke-free outdoor policy would mean safer parks, healthier sidewalks, and public events where people can just enjoy themselves without worrying about smoke happening or any secondhand smoke entering their bodies. It would make our city way cleaner too. Fewer cigarette butts on the grounds, less pollution, and better air quality for everyone. It would set a better example for younger kids and show that we care about health and the well-being of our community. Right now, if you didn't know, Santa Maria has a C grade when it comes to tobacco control. That's barely passing. I think we can do better. If we want to be sort of an A city grade, we would need a strong smoke-free outdoor policy. So thank you so much for your time and for considering this important step toward a healthier Santa Maria.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
And congratulations.
Analia Vega, followed by Juan Martinez.
Good evening, Madam Mayor and the City Council members. My name is Analia Vega Vasquez, and I'm a resident here in Santa Maria, and I'm currently attending Santa Maria High School and becoming a sophomore later this year. I know I want a smoke-free city just as much as the next person does. I want a smoke-free city because I want to live in a world where we prioritize health over personal decisions. As I walk to school, 9 out of 10 times, I somehow always encounter a person smoking as I prepare myself for 6 hours of tiring lessons. I don't like how I have to feel the need to cover my mouth or plug my nose. Secondhand smoking does not help anyone, not the person initiating the harm, nor the victim exposed to it. As a person with asthma, the risk is higher for me than a person who does not have it. Thinking about how badly I may be affected just because of someone's bad decision makes me anxious. Overall, I hope to live in a city that will listen to my voice and make the air healthy again. As a member of Fighting Back Santa Maria Valley's youth group called Youth Action Coalition, it is my duty to give awareness and promote a smoke-free environment for all. As mentioned previously, the City of Santa Maria smoke-free outdoor policy is a C overall. I believe this was our outcome because of the unaddressed areas like dining, public events, service areas, sidewalks, and work sites. These specific areas, I would say, are the most important because those places have the most people around on a daily basis. By giving attention to the areas listed above, the air quality of our residents of the Santa Maria could and will improve. We just have to be the ones to start the initiative. If we all work together, I know our future outdoor policy grade will go up. But if you take anything of what I say today, please know that your decisions could impact our city and our people in the future. Thank you.
Thank you. Juan Martinez?
Good evening, Madam Mayor and esteemed council members. My name is Juan Martinez, and I recently graduated from Tommy Coons Junior High School. I am a member of Fighting Back Santa Maria Valley's Youth Action Coalition. I want a smoke-free city because smoking can affect a person's point of view. I know this because when I was younger, my sister used to smoke, and because I looked up to her, my point of view of smoking changed. I thought it wasn't so bad, but eventually I found out that it was bad and that it can harm the lives of many people. This is why smoking is a thing that should be stopped. Having a smoke-free city can ensure the safety and comfortness of the people around us. Dining areas, sidewalks, and even work sites in Santa Maria are graded a 0 on their smoke-free policy. This means that smoking impacts these areas the most. Additionally, I sincerely ask you to consider adopting a new smoke-free policy. If you have any other questions that relate to tobacco control, I recommend asking for a presentation from the Santa Barbara Health Department. Here is a copy of the 2024 California local grades for your reference. Thank you for your time.
Thank you very much. Santiago Segovia?
Good afternoon, Madam Mayor, council members, members of the city, and members of the public. My name is Santiago Segovia, and I serve as the Tobacco Prevention and Cannabis Education Program Coordinator at the Santa Barbara County Health Department. I am here today first to express my appreciation for the cities of Santa Maria's long-standing commitment to protecting the health of its residents, especially youth and families, from the harmful effects of smoking and secondhand smoke. Over the years, our program has had the opportunity to collaborate closely with Fighting Back Santa Maria and the city on several key tobacco prevention initiatives. Most notably, we work alongside the city to plan, adopt, and implement the local tobacco retail license program, which this council approved in 2020. More recently, in 2023, our team provided technical assistance during the transition of the tobacco retail license program related activities from the Santa Maria's Police Department to the City Rangers. And we also support the city's efforts to securing funding that ensures the sustainability of those operations. As we heard earlier from the youth advocates from Fighting Back Santa Maria Valley, there is a growing awareness and desire among youth to further protect their families, their peers, and their communities against the harmful effect of smoking and secondhand smoke exposure. Our program is proud to support these youth-led efforts, not only in the city of Santa Maria, but across all jurisdictions in Santa Barbara County. According to the 2024 Tobacco Scorecard that is issued annually by the American Lung Association, there are current areas where Santa Maria's existing smoke-free outdoor ordinance could be strengthened. Specifically, the current ordinance does not yet include smoke-free protection in service areas, sidewalks, public events, work sites, and dining. On behalf of the Tobacco Prevention Program and the Health Department, I would like to offer our full support and technical assistance should the city choose to review and update that ordinance. We can also coordinate with the Public Health Law Center to help draft a model language tailored specifically for the city of Santa Maria and the needs of its residents. Thank you so much for your continued leadership and dedication to public health. Please do not hesitate to reach out to our program if further assistance is needed. Thank you.
Thank you. Well, you made it right under the 3 minutes. Thank you. Thank you very much. That concludes our public.
Madam Mayor?
Yes.
We did receive some written comments on the next item, consent calendar items.
Okay.
For 12A4, we received written comment from Alexandria Guzman and Erica Vicente. This item is adoption of resolutions approving new employment agreements between City of Santa Maria and David Rollins and Thomas Watson. And then we received one written comment for consent calendar item 12E1, which is from Randy Downer, which is the adoption of resolution approving a professional service agreement with J.D. Human for citywide landscape maintenance services.
Thank you very much. So now we'll move on to the consent calendar. Does anyone have anything they want to pull?
Yeah, I want to pull.
Oh,
I'm sorry, I do have a correction on one of the agenda items.
yes, right. Okay, go ahead.
It's 12D4. The title is correct. I just want to correct the number of consultants from 5 to 8. That was just an oversight on the staff report. All the other resolutions and agreements that are part of the attachments are all correct. But on the agenda itself, for recommendations 1 through 8, the service is not for architectural and structural engineering services, but for civil engineering surveying services, as on the title of the agenda.
Thank you.
I want to pull 12A4 regarding the new employment agreements between the City of Santa Maria and David Rollins and the City of Santa Maria City Manager Tom Watson.
Okay.
And then I also want to pull an item, 12B3, and then also 12E1.
12E1, 12B3,
Yes.
B3.
and you said 12.
12A4.
B, like boy.
Okay. And
La B.
Ms. Jessica, did you have any you wanted to pull?
No.
Okay. So we have
You got mine.
12A4, 12B3, and 12E1, right? Okay.
12E1, yeah.
Okay, 12A4. Okay. Go ahead.
So I just got the contract regarding the city manager and city attorney on Monday, right? The resolution states that city council conducted a performance and compensation review. I did not take part in that because I wasn't here during June 3rd. I was in Dayton, Ohio for the Children's Miracle Network. Also, it requires under section 54953 that we prepare orally report a summary of a recommendation for final action on the salaries. I did not partake in that. Based on not getting the contract until Monday, not really being able to look at the percentages and all that that's in there, and not having conducted a performance and compensation review, I can't vote on this. I can't move forward with this item.
Okay, would you like to postpone this item then?
I'd like to hear what other council members want to say about it.
Well, that's fine. We
Yeah.
can postpone it.
I'll be in agreement with postponing the.
Postponing it?
Okay, we'll do that. Okay, that's 12A4. Then the next one is 12B3.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, Councilmember Flores?
B3 purchasing guidelines?
12B3,
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
the resolution approving amendments for the purchasing guidelines. To
Yes.
who am I talking to?
That
What?
would be
Yeah.
finance?
Yeah. So on this one, I had some concerns about the increase that they are wanting to approve for purchasing limits. It was that one item, and now it's increased tremendously, so I have a problem with that one, pulling it back.
Okay.
So are we going to have a presentation on that?
Mr. Rollins, would you like to respond to that, or?
Well, can we vote on the consent calendar with items we haven't pulled and then have a?
Yeah.
Okay. So I'm going to move that we
Okay.
vote for the consent calendar without 12A4 and what's the other one?
12B3,
12B3,
and 12E1.
and 12E1.
I'll second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second to approve all the consent items except 12A4, 12B3, and 12E1.
Right.
Any further discussion? Hearing none, Madam Clerk, can you please call the roll?
Councilmember Aguilar Hernandez.
Aye.
Councilmember Flores.
Aye.
Mayor Pro Tem Escobedo.
Aye.
And Mayor Patino.
Aye.
Okay, then
Okay.
I'm going to make a motion that we postpone 12A4 to a later hearing. I don't know if you guys wanted to pick a date.
Okay.
I'll second.
Yeah.
Okay, a motion and a second to postpone 12A4. Did you say you did or didn't want to pick a date? We'll just,
I didn't know if the council wanted to pick a date.
no, we can just
Okay.
postpone it
Just-
until the
okay.
next meeting. Okay, that'll be fine. Any further discussion? Hearing none, Madam Clerk, can you please call the roll?
Councilmember Aguilar Hernandez.
Aye.
Councilmember Flores.
Aye.
Mayor Pro Tem Escobedo.
Aye.
Mayor Patino.
Aye. Okay, so now we're on 12B3.
The purchasing limits.
Yeah, as we're going to put together the ERP system right now, one of the things we wanted to get approved with the purchase limits, so we can get that into the overall system to start going forward. But later on in the year, we actually have the purchasing guidelines rewritten. We have been working on those with our new finance director. We want her to take a look at those items. But in terms of the ERP, it's supposed to kick off on July 1st of this year. And what they wanted to put in there was the purchasing limits, what could be done by the city manager, department directors, and so on and so forth. There is an ordinance that does give the city manager the authority to increase that without having to come to city council, but I said that's not going to happen. I want city council to sign off on that, and we brought up our finance team to talk in a little bit more detail about the item here you're asking about. Thank you.
Okay.
Okay, thank you.
Go ahead.
Thank you very much, Madam Mayor, members of the council. My name is Rick Kirkwood. I'm the city's budget manager, and with me tonight, a little bit more well-versed on this topic than I am, is Lorena Zarata. She is our accounting manager in finance. We have been working on updating the purchasing policies manual for about 2 years, I believe. Might have even started since before I started with the city. The finance department contracted with MGO, a consulting firm, to evaluate our current purchasing guidelines, and then also other federal requirements, California state laws, regulations, other rules, and also comparisons to what other jurisdictions have as well. And throughout all of that work and a very thorough, detailed review by city staff here in finance, as well as the leadership team, city attorney's office, we've put together what we believe is a purchasing policy that is revised, it is current, conforms with rules and regulations, and some new updates, especially as that has been published in OMB 2 CFR 200, which is the Code of Federal Regulations, and also thresholds that have been increased that will result in some greater efficiencies as well as controls amongst city staff levels, especially given that we're going to a new paperless enterprise resource planning system that will allow for the routing and approval in a much more efficient and time-saving manner than what we otherwise had to live with or would have to live with within our current thresholds. Lorena, do you have anything else?
Just to add something real quick, departments still have to purchase within their budgets. This doesn't impact budget in any way. They still have to conform to their departmental budgets. It's just mostly in terms of efficiency for the routing of approvals at different levels.
Okay. So I'm looking at it, and we're in a budget deficit, right? And so we're going from 45 to 75 for an increase in spending. I disagree with that. I don't think we should be doing this right now. I think that, where we're at as a city, and we're giving them more power to purchase more items if they need them or if they don't need them. So I really believe on this we shouldn't be doing this. We shouldn't be increasing what they need to spend. They have money to spend, and I think they need to stay within their limit. So I'm not in agreement with this at all.
Mayor Patino, Councilmember Flores, if I may, this does not necessarily increase citywide spending overall. It just sets the thresholds at which certain decisions can be made, essentially saying that if you look at the table that is, I apologize, near the bottom of page 2 of the CAR, for contracts, the current threshold and the guideline is anything between $1,000 and $10,000 for a contract. That's the limit within which that a department director can currently approve the contract. The new threshold is proposed to require contracts when they are valued between $5,000 and $15,000, and that's the threshold then where the department director can approve that contract. Otherwise, if a contract is going to exceed that $15,000 threshold under the new guidelines, or $10,000 threshold in the current guidelines, then it moves to that third row, open market contracts and formal bids, where the departments then have to go out and request 3 written quotes or proposals. The efficiencies that we're gaining is when we are looking to issue a contract for something less than $10,000, it costs city staff time and effort. We have to send emails, we have to make phone calls, we have to wait for responses for those 3 quotes. And now we're going to raise that threshold up a little bit higher to where city staff doesn't have to spend that much time going out and asking for quotes. It also recognizes that due to inflation, the cost of a lot of contracts have increased anyway. So it's already, that kind of pressure is already putting pressure on staff to have to go out and request 3 quotes and spend that time. So that's what these guidelines are. It doesn't necessarily increase spending overall directly. It just increases the thresholds at which city staff can make decisions without moving to the next layer that usually next layer of decisions that's usually a little bit more costly to implement.
Okay, I understand that, but you can't guarantee that they're not going to spend that. Is that correct?
I do not control citywide spending, no.
Okay.
I have a question. So if I got this correctly, you guys are requesting to extend this threshold because of you guys are trying to avoid the city staff to go and run a bid because that would take more time and also you say like, and in order for you guys to avoid that next step is having this, but at the same time, that expenditure, and I read there, and the expenditure, I mean, they have their budget. So even if the project, it's 40,000 and they just have 20,000, well, they will need to find something that is cheaper. Or how would that work? That was my question is, you can expend, to $1,000 or $1 million, but if they don't have enough, in their budget, enough to make that purchase, how would that work?
Thank you, Councilmember Escobedo. The city budget, in the item that came to you earlier this month on June 3rd, there were a number of different items in the supplemental budget requests that Public Works, for instance, had requested increases to line items to provide additional budget for their plumbing materials, HVAC repair and maintenance, and several other things that were put on hold because of the budget deficit, knowing that the more we increase certain line items like that, the more pressure it puts on the city's budget deficit. So those budgetary decisions or the appropriations that you adopted that evening and gave to each department, none of those are adjusted upward or downward regardless of what happens with the thresholds here in the purchasing policy. Another example, utilizing the plumbing supplies line item in the city's budget, for example, there are a number of purchases that the Public Works Department might have to go out and make for repairs, And under the current guidelines, they might have to buy something that 5, 6, 7 years ago might have cost less than $1,000. They would not need to go through our requisition process that would require the review of accounting staff and the review of the department director making decisions on each of these things. But now in today's world, some of those same materials might cost more than $1,000. So that increase in inflation alone has resulted in more burden and workload on Ms. Zareta's team in terms of the number of requisitions that they have to process and then the number of POs, purchase orders, that they then have to issue. So that's where, for example, that first line, we're looking to increase from $1,000 to $5,000 so that it brings some of that workload and pressure on her team down a little bit more. Same thing for a lot of the pricing for various contracts that might fall in that $1,000 to $10,000 range. Nowadays are falling between that $5,000 and $15,000 range. So the inflation that we've experienced over the last 6 years, that's what's putting the pressure on the budget, not the flexibility that the purchasing or new thresholds in the purchasing policy are that we're requesting.
Okay, my question is, when was the last time you increased them, or how long has the spending budget been at that number? How long? A year? Was it?
I do not know in particular if the 2018 purchasing policy increased any of the thresholds or not. I can't speak to that directly. I think that the 2018 purchasing policy update might have revised a lot more of the policy language, but I don't recall that it increased the thresholds that you see in that table on page 2.
Right, her question was, when was the last time that somebody looked at this?
The last time has been this project that's been going on since, I believe, late 2022.
So since 2022, we haven't increased the thresholds?
No.
I don't know the last time that the thresholds were increased. I'm not sure the 2018 policy, when it was put into place, increased any of the thresholds that were in place before.
So, I mean, I do understand where you guys are coming from. You know, it's just, it would be ridiculous to run a bid for a $1,000 project and spending sometimes even, you know, time and money on something that can be fast forward. And, you know, I mean, we open the threshold, but that, you know, doesn't really mean that we're actually going to spend the top, because, you know, or departments will be limited by how much money they have approved by the council. So, yeah, I just wanted to get if I'm reading your presentation correctly.
So I have a question in terms of software that you guys are using. If you're doing it manually, of course, it's very labor intensive that you have to get a quote and a bid and all that for $1,000. But what type of software are you guys using? Because after you do it a year or 2 or 3, you know what contracts are up for renewal, right? And what you need to get a bid on, because we're not spending our money, we're spending taxpayer money. And so what type of software are you guys using so that it's not so labor intensive on staff? Or are you doing it all manually?
We've met recently, and Mr. Fulgoni can come up and speak with you about what Public Works has implemented. They're using a piece of software called Planet Bids, which several agencies throughout California that have a centralized purchasing function, they utilize Planet Bids because it's a way to electronically solicit for bids and receive proposals and document all of the proposals that's been received. That is just what the Public Works Department has. It's not exactly being widely used throughout the entire city.
Mr. Fulgoni, would you like to comment on this item?
Yeah, the Planet Bids is a program that was set up. I think we've been using it about 2 years now, and we use it for formal bidding and even some informal bids as well, along with some what are called requests for proposals, to try to eliminate that exact thing that you were describing.
Mm-hmm.
Those thresholds tend to be for public works projects, which are much higher dollar value. This type of thing, smaller dollar value. There is, if you look at the item that was on the agenda tonight for the on-call services, that's an example of us bringing to you the authorization for certain contracts to spend up to a certain amount, like $300,000 for each one. It doesn't necessarily mean that we'll spend that. We get task orders, we utilize each one of those contracts for different projects up to a certain amount, and we stay within the budget for each one of those. So hopefully that
Thank
helps
you.
clarify.
So basically, we at the council will be saying this is what we're budgeting for this contract. And then above that, the 45 to the 75 would be decisions that you could make at the department level.
Correct.
Right? Okay.
If I may,
Yes.
Mayor Patino, within the budget, we might have a supplemental budget request that says we need $100,000 for street sweeping maintenance. And because of that $100,000 threshold, that would fall under the formal bid in that table, the fourth row of formal bid, where currently that range would now have to go to the city council to make that decision. The new thresholds would delegate that authority to the city manager to issue between $100,000 to $175,000 for contracts requiring a formal bid. And then anything over $175,000 or more would then come back to council to be issued. That policy threshold, though, just states here's what's within the city manager's sphere to be able to approve. The budget line item still only had $100,000 appropriated in the budget. Just because the threshold for something requiring a formal bid means that between $100,000 and $175,000 the city manager can approve. If the budget's only $100,000, then
Come to us.
really the only decision to be made would be to appropriate $100,000, or I'm sorry, not to appropriate, to award a contract that would be $100,000 or less, or within budget.
So I think we need to be clear that the budget is the budget. What you're asking for are threshold. You need authorization. In my household, if you're spending more than $500, you need authorization. You both need to agree, right? It's about efficiency. And because even if it's 500 or 1,000, it is taxpayer money. I need to know, like I asked, when was the last time this was adjusted so that we could adjust for inflation? Asking me to come up here and say, hey, we want you to approve for $5,000 doesn't help me because I don't know how many contracts you have. Are you using software, right? How do I make your life easier with still having the checks and balances of transparency when we're spending money that doesn't belong to us and belongs to the taxpayers? So I think that's what I would need in order to approve something like this is when was the last time we adjusted for inflation? What is the inflation? What used to be $1,000 last year is now $1,200. Yeah, we should adjust for inflation, right? But I need to know that number and I need to have some logic behind that in order to get to where you guys want me to get and make your life easier and make things more efficient.
Madam Mayor.
Mr. Posada.
Thank you. Councilmember Aguilar Hernandez. I can tell you that the purchasing policy limits are very old. I can't
Yes.
give you an exact date, but I will tell you that they are probably well over 15 years old.
I think it was like 1985.
It's, yeah, a long time. And we have been asking as department directors to increase those levels just so that we are able to get our work done. And I think the comment that it is all budget driven. If you don't have the money in your budget, you
Doesn't
can't
get
approve
done.
it. You have to go find alternate funding. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Posada. Okay. Do I have a motion on this? Do I have any further discussion? So I guess,
I can't vote to increase the thresholds at this time until I have that information. I'm not opposed to increasing the purchasing thresholds, but I would like to adjust for 20, 15 years and, have some logic as to instead of 1,000, it should be 5,000 because we do need the oversight and we do need the checks and balances.
Yes.
So a question.
Ms. Escobedo?
How did we get from from these, how did you guys get these numbers? It was based on experience, based on how do you guys come from 75,000 to 100,000? Is there a specific, reason why not going to 150, or how do you guys get to that number?
It was a recommendation from our interim finance director, Zena, when she was still here, and I believe she consulted. I don't know if it was with LSL exactly, but it was before my time with the city. I do believe also that I believe it's within range in comparison to other surrounding agencies, but we can confirm that.
Okay, so then if I do agree with the request from Councilmember Aguilera on, let us know why this is a specific number, because and how do you guys get there? And yeah, I think that's I don't know if it was a motion. Was a motion?
Yeah, I move that you guys go back and give us the numbers, because, as I explained,
I'll second.
You're gonna, just so that the taxpayers understand at home, you're gonna spend 5 hours approving something that's $300. That makes no sense. I get where you guys are coming from. We just want the mechanism that we can explain to the taxpayers why we improved that threshold. So if you guys want to come back at the next meeting, 2 weeks, if that's going to be enough for you guys to come back and provide that documentation.
Okay, that's a motion, and
I'll second.
your second? Okay. Any further discussion?
Thank you.
Do we need
Thank you.
We need a vote?
Yes, I know. Roll
Yes,
call.
I got Aguilera Hernandez as first and Flores second.
Yes.
And this is to bring back the item for more information as to how it was decided on the increases on the authority
The
levels.
threshold limits.
Threshold limits, and to bring back at the next meeting.
Correct.
Ready for a vote?
Ready for the vote.
Councilmember Aguilera Hernandez.
Aye.
Councilmember Flores.
Aye.
Mayor Pro Tem Escobedo.
Aye.
And Mayor Patino.
Aye. Okay, moving on to 12E1. And that's the adoption of a resolution approving a professional services agreement with J.D. Human for citywide landscape maintenance services. Ms. Aguilera Hernandez?
No, that was
That was me.
Oh, that was you? Oh, okay.
Hi, Mr. Posada. So my question for this item, is he the only one that submitted a bid? Because when I looked at it, I saw other bids on there, and he's on the contract. His services are for the city of Santa Maria, right? Gave all the directions that they go to. But I have a concern because a lot of my constituents in District 2 in the south area, it's neglected. So why would I agree to go into a contract with a company, landscaping company, that's not doing what they're supposed to be doing? We have other bidders, less money, doesn't mean that they're rated as maybe as high as he was, but I think we should look at it in a different manner, bring it back. I'm not in agreement with and approving him to be our landscaper. I think maybe we could do a change here in the city of Santa Maria and do some things different. We just don't know what the next person can do for our city unless we give them a chance. So I think the contract that's there is quite large of the money that we want, that they're asking. And I think, and I'm not saying that that the other ones aren't capable of doing them. I know they were rated, but I think that we need to look at it because that's a lot of money, and I get a lot of phone calls.
Thank you, Councilmember Flores and Mayor. So the landscape districts are a unique animal.
Yes.
Because there are probably 55, 60% of the residents in the city of Santa Maria that do not belong to a landscape district, especially in the older districts like the Northeast District. The only projects within the Northeast that are in a landscape district would be those around the Jim May Park area.
I'm in the southeast.
And yes, and then as we move south, then you have the old Southeast District, which is its own problem. That district was created in the 1980s, and it has been underwater financially for a number of years. The other districts have been burdened with having to help that district out from time to time. So I see your point, and in this particular contract, the Southeast District is no longer in the contract. The Southeast District will be maintained by city crews. So that is a change that came about because of the fact that it was not generating sufficient funds. I think I mentioned to the council members in the past that the biggest single expense that we have in the landscape districts and in our general fund parks is water. So the older areas in Southeast, were designed in the 80s. Some newer places coming in the 90s, they have a lot of overhead sprinklers, a lot of old water lines that just cost a lot of money and waste, frankly, a lot of water. So we've been trying to control that better over the last few years. But the landscaping there is very old. The trees have gotten to a point where they're upsetting the sidewalks, the curb and gutter. Director Fulgoni and I have conversations about the impacts of trees on rights-of-way and the public improvements. So it is a problem. I will tell you that there was a time when the phone at Rec and Parks would ring constantly with complaints about landscape maintenance. J.D. Human Company has been on board for quite a while, and I perhaps get 2 or 3 complaints a year about their specific service. The cost of service is what we feel is within reason. If you notice the difference between the top and the next bidder, financially it's about a $160,000 difference roughly. But it's more than the money, because we want a contractor that's responsive to the public, who is available. I think Mr. Downer would even comment that when he is called J.D. Human for service or an issue or a complaint, that they've been responsive to him. I think that's true for all of our residents. They have had the contract a long time. It is a lot of money. It's a lot of work too. They employ about 25 full-time employees, maintaining those district areas. So certainly we can, relook at it if that's the council's desire. But as a staff recommendation is to go ahead and award to J.D. Human, given their background and experience and the level of service that we've experienced with them over the years.
Mr. Posada, I had a question. So we have 94 employees there at Rec and Parks, right? Why aren't we doing it? Is there a reason why we don't do it?
So you have 94 employees.
You don't. Why don't you do it? Not me.
There are 94 employees, and actually there's a few more than that. Actually, I think our total contingent is about 200 full-time equivalents. The problem is that only a handful of them, probably about 30% of them, are actually in park maintenance. The others are in recreation programs, rangers, our rec program staff, our aquatic staff, and of course administration. So it is a tough deal to have our staff go out and do I believe it's close to 300 acres of public parks that they have to maintain, and then go out and maintain the additional acreage of landscape districts. If you're around, and you'll notice that when you drive and there's landscape maintenance happening in the roadway, there is a whole litany of special safety diversions that have to be installed. Lanes have to be closed. We have to get a Caltrans permit to do certain closures. We work with Public Works to make sure that we're not interfering with services. We let fire and police know. It's a very complicated service that you think would be pretty easy. Just go in and pick up mow the grass, pick up the weeds, pick up the trash, and move on to your next thing. But it does get pretty complicated. Having a contractor on board also reduces the city's liability. For employees, reduces our workers' compensation issues, reduces our potential for a public safety, like a traffic accident, somebody running into a vehicle in the roadway during a street closure. So there are a number of ways that we like to be able to spread that potential liability outside of the city crews.
So we've never considered in-house?
When I started as director, it was in-house. We had park crews that were dedicated to doing that. Most recently, I would say maybe 2 budgets ago, we had an internal crew that their only job was to go out and renovate landscaping. So if a car ran through a roundabout, it was their job to go in and fix it. If a car hit a tree, along a parkway, that crew went out and handled that. But like I said, that crew is now going to be dedicated to working in the Southeast District, just because of the financial issues that district has.
Thank you.
So,
Ms. Aguilar
So
Hernandez?
I think this is really complicated. I don't think it's something that we can resolve today. So I would say that we should continue this item. I think Councilmember Flores has a lot of questions and wants to look into us. And I think it'd also be good for us to know if we did bring it in-house, how much more would it cost us? And I'm pretty sure it'd probably be much more expensive than the liability, the insurance. So I think having that as well to justify why we hire a third-party vendor to do it would be helpful. So I would move that we continue this item until, I don't know, a month, if we have time to come up with that information.
Madam Mayor, may I seek a clarification?
Mr. Watson?
Yes, because we do have bids that are outstanding. And so if your intent is to come back and review this for the purpose of rejecting this bidder, then we would have to rebid the project. So if it's for informational, you probably want to do it in a less time period, simply because otherwise we'll have to rebid the project.
Right, but that's why I was asking Mr. Posada, how long does he need to provide this information?
We should be able to have it for the next council meeting.
July 1st?
Yeah, depending on the depth that you want. We can certainly analyze what it would take for us to do it in-house and bring that number back to you.
Okay.
If that's the major question, we can do that.
Okay, July 1st.
Okay.
I have
Mr. Escobedo?
Yes, I was looking at the overall rating, and I see the 84.35, and how the next one in line is all weather for 75.21. How did I mean, it tells you a little bit of what they take in consideration, and with JD Humane, it's more about also about you guys are taking in consideration the rating and kind of like balance how much it would be added. I mean, I see it $154,735 with 47 cents, and we're paying that extra in exchange. I mean, with the numbers of 9.14 over in the rating. Right. How have we ever contract with All Weather Landscape Inc.?
Not that I'm aware of. No, we had. So there was a time when we had 4 different landscape companies doing the job, and it was a management nightmare for us because there was not enough money in the budget to have a staff person manage each of the independent contractors. In this particular case, for the ratings, what we did is to have 3 raters. They're identified in the staff report. They did it individually. They prepared their numbers. After the numbers came back, let me back up. So the projects were bid through a sealed bid process. The bids were opened. The individuals that were on the raters were given copies of the contracts. They went off on their own, did the rating, and came back on a rating sheet. Then we did a follow-up with references for each of the contractors, and those references were evaluated and then added into the score based on the comments from their customers. So that's how we ended up with the rating. And it's important to, as it says in the staff report, to note that it's not just the dollar amount, because yes, that's an important amount, but it really is the customer service, the oversight, the quality control, and the safety of the organization that's key for us.
And I'm right there with you. I think it's important to balance, to have a balance on, I mean, the numbers are important, but also, let's say, the customer service and the job being well done. So yeah, just want that clarification. Thank you.
Okay, so do we need a motion on that, Mr. Watson?
Yeah.
Or,
Again, I'm just trying to clarify if the
Yeah.
intent is to reject the bid for the purpose of rebidding it, or because you want a different bidder, that's one thing. If the intent is simply to gather information as to whether or not we can bring it in-house, then we can hold the bid and make a determination at the next meeting.
I thought it was the second that.
Yeah.
Okay,
Correct?
as long as, I just
Yeah.
wanted to clarify
Right.
that for the record, because there's bidders that are out there waiting for that determination.
Okay,
Well, I don't want to, I'm not
Yeah.
going to say that I'm going to move to, my vote for human? Yeah, okay.
okay.
We move it.
So this is just to be moved for clarification to whether or not we could do this in-house. Okay. So do we need a motion on that or just direction? Just direction, okay.
We do have one on the table right now. We have Aguilar Hernandez, that motion to continue this for more clarification to July 1st.
Oh, okay.
Can we take a vote?
Okay. Did you want to second that? Okay. Motion and a second. Further discussion? Hearing none. Madam Clerk, can you please call the roll?
Councilmember Aguilar Hernandez.
Aye.
Councilmember Flores.
Aye.
Mayor Pro Tem Escobedo.
Aye.
Mayor Patino.
No. Okay, motion carries. Okay, that's our consent calendar. Okay, our first business item is a presentation on the proposed ordinance amending Titles 2 and 10 of the Santa Maria Municipal Code to be delivered by Director of Recreation and Parks, Mr. Posada.
Thank you, Mayor, members of the City Council. Good evening again. Thank you. So tonight, we are presenting some amendments to the Municipal Code Title II in the Administration Section, Chapter 2-14, which establishes the Recreation and Parks Commission, and Section 2-14.6, the recommendations to the council, and powers generally of the commission, and Title 10, Recreation and Parks, Chapter 10-1. So what we have is a little bit of a follow-up to our last presentation regarding fees and charges. One of the things that I mentioned during the adoption of our methodology that the council did at the last meeting was that the way things are set up today, when the department has a program or a service that it wants to offer the community, and it's not within our fee structure at the time, that item has to be brought back to the council. That item can be as minor as a ballet class, a skateboard class, karate lessons, swim lessons, whatever it happens to be. The department programs usually by season. Summer, spring, and winter are typical seasons. So you'll see a recreation guide come out with possibly 20 or 30 classes in there. What we have done over the last few years is to really limit our scope in what those classes look like, mainly because we don't want to have to come back to the council every time we have a new class. However, the community demand, and you'll see this next month when the leisure needs assessment is presented, that there's a bigger demand for services and programs. So what we would recommend here, and coming from the Recreation and Parks Commission, is to adopt the municipal, or to amend the municipal code, allowing the commission to hear and take all the public input, set a fee, very similar to its authority now to set rules and regulations for the parks. Those items that the commission takes action on in this ordinance amendment would come back to the council at the next regular meeting for council to review and approve. So the actual approval of fees or rules or regulations doesn't leave the council's authority, but it actually just gives the commission the opportunity to take the public comment, hold at one of their meetings, hear what the public has to say, look at staff report, and then make a recommendation to adopt it And if they adopt it, it's kind of a on-hold thing until it comes to the council at the next meeting. And then the council can either approve it, or if they don't want to approve it, they can kick it back to the commission for more work. That's the essence of what the amendments are. Recreation Parks Commission Chair Rebecca Carey is here, and she'd like to take a minute to address the council, if that's okay with the mayor.
Thank you. Thank you, Ms. Carey.
Good evening, Madam. Oh, is this okay? Sounds funny. Good evening, Madam Mayor and City Council. My name is Rebecca Carey, and I'm Chair of the Recreation and Parks Commission. As Director Posada explained in his staff report, the Recreation and Parks needs flexibility in setting fees for programs and services. The current process of bringing new recreation programs and their associated fees before the City Council is poor use of the council as well as staff's time. Most recreation programs and services attempt to capitalize on current trends in recreation, be they in fitness, outdoor recreation, education, or arts and crafts, or pickleball. It's important that the department has flexibility to be responsive to our community's interest in a timely manner. This proposal would allow the commission to act as the City Council's proxy in these matters, reviewing proposed recreation programs and setting their associated fees. These fees would be set in accordance with the fee methodology recently adopted by the City Council. This would allow us to keep affordable programs available to our community. As mentioned in the staff report, City Council will have the final review of all actions taken by the Commission on these matters, providing the opportunity for your input. The Commission is keenly aware of and shares the City Council's commitment to keep all recreation programs accessible and affordable to our residents. On behalf of the Recreation and Parks Commission, I request that you approve the ordinance change. Thank you.
Thank you. Any questions from the council?
Yes, Madam Mayor.
Oh, Mr. Escobedo?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. And something that was mentioned actually by my commissioner and regarding the rent facilities, this is included on that one, right? It would be part of, it's not just programs, but also facilities and...
So the facility rental rates were included in the report that was done by RCS.
Okay.
However, facility rental rates are usually included in the overall city finance. Right. Every time you approve, finance brings forward the fee structure. Building rentals are typically in that schedule. The only thing that isn't is usually recreation programs.
Okay. Yeah, and I see these as, that's a way to create a system that, going this back and forth every single time when it just, and I think that the Rec and Parks Commission does a great job and putting this kind of whole hearings, public hearings. I think it would make it easier for people to have access to speak up and have one place to do it, but also they can come to us. So because at the end of the day, we're going to be the last ones that are going to be signing off on that. Yes. So I think it's creating these. It's for me, I would be pro saying yes.
Thank you.
To me, it's almost like the CDBG. We have a CDBG committee that takes a lot of time and energy to go through all those things. And then the people can be yelling at the Parks Commission instead of yelling at us.
That's a plus.
Right, Ms. Carey? Okay.
Well,
go ahead.
Yeah, I'll make that a motion.
I'll second.
Okay, so that's 13A, that's approval on the ordinance.
Do you want to wait until Aguilera Hernandez comes back in?
I don't know how long she'll be gone.
She just left 2 minutes ago.
Who?
She just stepped out.
Ms. Hernandez just stepped out.
I mean, we had quorum, so we can move on.
Okay, let's go ahead. I have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Councilmember Flores,
Aye.
Mayor Pro Tem Escobedo,
Aye.
and Mayor Patino.
Aye. Motion carries. The next regular business is a presentation on the establishment of a City Council Ad Hoc Committee and the appointment of 2 council members to be delivered by City Manager Dave Rowlands.
Thank you, Madam Mayor and members of council. Tonight, staff is requesting to have 2 individuals appointed to a budget ad hoc committee to work with staff as we take a look at the 25-26 budget that was recently adopted, to take a look at how we can improve it, take a look at ways that potentially making cuts and where the funding is going right now to address the structural deficit that we currently have within the city. So I look to have 2 individuals from City Council to be appointed to the Budget Ad Hoc Committee.
Okay, so, and as mayor, I should be on that. What are you talking about as far as terms of, because I know everyone's time is sort of restricted, terms of how many meetings and when, and what were your thoughts on this?
Our thought is to get everything completed by November. That's our goal. We want to do it 3 months, get in there, take a look at the information, come back with recommendations, and present a new budget to City Council at that point in time, a revised budget, I should say, to City Council at that time frame.
To what, 3 months?
Mm-hmm. It may be done sooner, but I think that's a time frame I'd be looking at.
Right, but
Yeah.
I think the question the mayor has is, the mayor has a lot of other duties. It's like a full-time job to be mayor. How much more time are you requesting, right? You talk about like once a week, 2 hours?
I'm not so much concerned about myself, but other people on the council, because I will certainly make myself available for these meetings, but then we want 2 people from the council, because it is just an ad hoc committee.
Yeah, I would anticipate at the high end 4 times a month, low end 2 times a month, to get together every 2 weeks or so to present the information, answer questions, and get into the details what the city council members want, the department directors are proposing, to hear from everybody and take an overall global look at the budget.
Do we have to have someone appointed tonight so that maybe people need to think about their time constraints?
No, they don't need appointed tonight. We can bring it back for the next city council meeting if you'd like. I would
Okay.
also be working around.
Might as well, we're
anybody's
bringing
schedules as
everything
well.
else back.
Right.
Right.
You could approve the resolution setting it up and then put an appointment
Okay.
for the next meeting.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, so we'll work around city council schedule as well.
So you're
Make sure.
looking at starting the ad hoc committee when?
Yep. Yeah, look at July, probably end of July.
And can you
I
tell,
want to confirm with Rebecca when she gets back from vacation.
I'm sorry, can you tell me the hours that it would be? Are we going to meet an hour, or is it 2 hours? Is it?
That's really going to depend on the committee
The
itself.
committee, yeah.
If we want to get to a point to where we're going to say we're not going to meet any longer than 2 hours a night or 3 hours, we can do that. But I want to make sure we provide ample time for us to provide the information. Get
And I
into the
imagine some of
information.
those meetings will be during the day, probably
Well,
morning.
I think that's the issue with the city
Yeah.
council, is that
Yeah.
4 of us work.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I said, we will work our schedule around that to meet with the ad hoc committee. If it needs to be meet it in the evening, we'll meet in the evening. This is a very important
I
item
think if
that we need to
it's,
do.
I think if it's in the evening, you're going to get a lot more interest.
Yeah.
Well, can we establish the ad hoc committee, and then we can decide who else would be available?
Yeah.
Okay. So do I have a motion?
I move that we establish the ad hoc committee.
And I second.
I have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, Madam Clerk, can you please call the roll?
Councilmember Aguilar Hernandez.
Aye.
Councilmember Flores.
Aye.
Mayor Pro Tem Escobedo.
No.
Mayor Patino.
Aye. So the next report will be by our city manager, David Rowlands.
Okay. We have a new program coming out to To improve the city's community outreach, we are trying something new this week and next week as a pilot program. It'll be both in English and Spanish. We will have English and Spanish speakers will be available. The program is called Access, and Access stands for Assist, Connect, Communicate, Engage, Support, and Serve. This effort is intended to inform underserved residents about city services through a mobile ambassador program. Access Santa Maria will support the current language access plan and the City Council goal of improving quality of life in Santa Maria by proactively delivering, demonstrating information in person at various locations throughout the city and in various languages. This is from the Spring 2024 GROW Cohort 3 Professional Development Program coordinated by the City and University of California at Santa Barbara. A group of city employees will be at the downtown Santa Maria Farmers Market at the Town Center West near Main and Broadway from 12 to 2 p.m. Wednesday, June 18th this week, and next week, Wednesday, June 25th. They'll have an app on which they will record interactions. They'll be wearing navy blue shirts with the Access graphic so they are easily identifiable. We push this information out on our social media to help spread the word. This is meant to enhance our outreach efforts. Our Assistant Recreation and Parks Director and our Public Information Manager are co-mentors to this group. We intend to come back to City Council with an agenda item later this summer or fall to make a presentation to City Council on this new program. In addition, some upcoming items on the agenda. We'll be doing the citywide landscape maintenance. We'll give you a report on how much it would cost to do in-house program, the purchasing guidelines, how do we get here, or where do we need to go, the employment agreements, the appointment to the Budget Ad Hoc Committee. We'll also be having municipal code amendments for accessory dwelling units, as those continuously get changed by the state of California to update our books. And those are some items that will be coming up prior to at the July 1st City Council meeting. That's all I have for this evening, Mayor.
Thank you. Let's do oral reports of council members. Ms. Flores, let's start with you.
June 5th, I went to the Air Fest kickoff barbecue. June 11th, ribbon cutting ceremony for the railroads. June 14th, I went to the Veterans Gala. And June 17th, today, I went for the police department badge pinning.
Thank you. Mr. Escobedo.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. On June 4th, I did a tour at the National History Museum, just across the street from City Hall. On June 11th, I had a meeting with city staff regarding the developer impact fees.
Thank you. Ms. Aguilera Hernandez?
Yes, on June 11th, I had the investment committee meeting. That's all I have to report.
Thank you. On June 4th, I attended the Santa Maria Day Reporting Center. This is for people who are no longer incarcerated and sort of a second chance, and celebrating that. On the 5th of June, I attended the Airfest kickoff, which the Airfest will be happening in October. That afternoon, I attended the LAFCO board meeting. On June 10th, I went out to the Omnitrax, which is the train, the combination of the Santa Maria Railroad with Omnitrax. They have partnered, and went out there to look at the train. On June 11th, I attended the Omnitrax ribbon cutting it's off of A Street. And later that day, I attended the celebration of life of Jim Glines. On the 12th, I attended the League of California Cities Housing Policy Committee. And today, the Santa Maria Police Department had badge pinning, and we have 8 new police officers. So we're getting there. So anyway, this evening, I would like to take the opportunity to tell you about a life that was very, very well lived, someone that was important in the city of Santa Maria, and that's Jack Garvin. Jack came here as a school teacher, but he was a superintendent in the Orcutt School District. But he was very much involved in Santa Maria, involved in the chamber, and involved in many activities that we did in Santa Maria. And so I certainly wanted to take the time to adjourn tonight's meeting for Mr. Garvin, who was he served on the school board, which he just retired not too long ago. So though he retired as a superintendent, he never retired of giving back to his community and was still very much involved. And anyone who did anything in Santa Maria knew Jack Garvin. So Jack, we're going to miss you. This meeting is adjourned.